Good morning and welcome back to Joni Come Lately. Before I get into this week's theme, I wanted to acknowledge two people who commented on my last week's video and newsletter. And I have to tell you, I really appreciate when subscribers take the time to comment, because I don't know why, but I feel like a kid waking up on Christmas morning. I really get excited. So, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I really do appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts, share your stories with me as well. One of you who watched last week's video said that, you have been in the process of getting fit and healthy for a while. You're eating the right foods, you're exercising, you want to live a healthy and long life. And once you watched the video, you thought, hey, maybe, there are things that I can do that I'm not doing right now to speed up the process of being even healthier. So I really appreciate you sharing that. The other person, it was a little bit deeply personal. They were talking about the loss of their spouse, how they weren't really prepared to spend this time in their stage of life by themselves. But with the grace of God, the support of their family, friends, and neighbors, they have been able to put one foot ahead of the other. So when I read some of these thoughts, that is exactly what change at any age looks like. I mean, that's exactly what it looks like. You don't always choose it. Sometimes it chooses it for you. But then you can only do one thing. You can pause, you can reset, and adjust your swing to life. I mean, otherwise, what's the other option? Now, this week, I want to talk about second chances. What does it actually mean to get one? Do we recognize it when it arrives? I mean, when a second chance occurs and it's knocking at our door, are you the type of person who's going to welcome it in, or are you going to close the door? Let me tell you something. I only briefly touched on it before, but really not in depth. For almost 18 years, as I've said before, I did everything traditional publishing world asked of me. I went to book fairs, I pitched to literary agents, I showed up over and over again. And I won't lie to you. After that many years of getting rejection after rejection, I did become a little disillusional. But here's something I didn't know when I started. In traditional publishing, you actually have to finish your manuscript. I didn't know that when I first started 18 years ago. If you want any of them to take you seriously, because some of them will ask for your full manuscript. And once I understood that, I still had to build the writing around a full-time job, raising kids, and everything else that life was throwing at me. There was no dedicated writing time for me. There was just whatever was left over at the end of the day. But I kept going, working full-time during the day and chasing this dream in every spare moment that I had. Somewhere along the way, I stopped and asked if this would ever happen. I asked myself and started wondering if it was even possible. And then something landed in my email last October, a self-publishing class taught by Cindy Hughes. And something told me, this is it. This is my second chance. Not the traditional route, not waiting for someone else to decide if my book's what's worthy. My second chance was taking that decision into my own hands. Getting my book out there my way, at my age, in my time. Honestly, I guess I could keep pitching. I could keep trying the traditional route until someone somewhere gave me a yes. But what age would I be? What state of mind would I be in? Because as you all know, I'm not exactly a spring chicken. That class showing up in my email was not a coincidence. It was a sign. It was my second chance to finally become a published author on my terms. And here's what I've come to understand. Just like the main character of the secondaries, he does not get his second chance on his own timeline. It happens when it's supposed to happen and not a moment before. He spent years proving his worth, years of preparation, years of waiting. And when it finally arrived, it did not look like anything he expected. Sound familiar? So here's my question for you this week. Has a second chance ever shown up in your life when you least expected it? Not on your timeline, but on its own. Did you recognize it when it arrived? Did you act on it? Or are you still standing on the edge of it right now? Tell me, drop in the comments, because your story, as I've said all along, matters just as much as mine. And speaking of chances, July 1st, the puzzle piece contest that I put in my newsletter officially launches on Instagram and TikTok. And I want to be honest about why I'm doing this on those two social media platforms. The secondaries is for anyone who enjoys reading a good story. But I know most teenagers and young adults are not exactly hanging out on Substack. So I have to go where they are. I'm trying everything possible to reach out to the book talk and young adult community on the platforms that they usually use. I don't know of any of it. I really don't know if any of this is going to work. Whether this on Substack, TikTok, Instagram, the marketing contests I put out there are going to work. But I have to try. And here is how that contest works. One image clue will be dropped every 2 weeks, leading all the way to my launch day. The follower who solves the most pieces will win a personally signed copy of the secondaries. If you are interested in playing along, you don't have to, if you don't have an Instagram, don't go out there and join Instagram or TikTok. But if you already have one of those two platforms, my Instagram is JoniComeLately_author, or on TikTok at Joni Ray Books. Ray is R-E-A, so Joni Ray Books. One last thing. November Newsletter 4 drops this Wednesday. And with continued paid access, if you have been enjoying this journey, I would love to have you here for the full story. My name is Joni Ray. My book is called The Secondaries, and we're just getting started. See you on Wednesday.